What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog. As you can tell, I've actually been keeping to one of my New Year's resolutions at least, which was keeping the car a bit cleaner. Cleaned it a couple of days ago, but today is a pretty exciting day because I plan on talking about the things I hate about the Audi TT. In contrast to that, let's take the car down to the New Forest on some fantastic driving roads and discuss what I don't like about the car I bought. So earlier on this week, I did actually plan on going down to the Audi garage to go to their golden ticket event, and I actually did go to it, and I was planning on vlogging it, but unfortunately they didn't have either of the cars I was interested in stock, which would be the V8 R8 or the new TTRS. So there wasn't really anything discussed because they had nothing they could price match me with, and nothing I could test drive. So that vlog was a bit of a bust. So unfortunately there'll be nothing. That was why I'm sort of a week late on the vlogs at the moment. But I have got a lot of content planned soon, because tomorrow I'm off to Amsterdam with Beth, so that will be a travel vlog, because I know I absolutely love making those, and I've always got a good response from you guys when I upload one of those. So we'll be travelling over there and staying in a 5-star known as the Kimpton de Wit Amsterdam, and I think it should be pretty interesting. Obviously there's not going to be a lot of car stuff involved, but I will be bringing the drone, and there will be a lot of other stuff going on as well while we're down there, so it'll be definitely worth checking in a few weeks time, or a week's time rather, for the travel vlog to Amsterdam. But in the meantime, let's go and get a coffee and let's jump in with the 5 things I hate about the Audi TT, and take it down some nice driving roads in the New Forest as well. Without further ado, I thought I'd start talking about the 5 things I hate about this car on the way to the nice drive in the New Forest. So, number 1 is the fact that when I purchased this car, I wasn't a massive fan of cars, believe it or not. I didn't really know a lot about them, I hadn't done a lot of research, and in terms of you know, the spec on this car, it's definitely not what I choose now. So the one thing I hate about the spec of TT I've currently got is the fact that it is front-wheel drive, meaning that the only driving wheels on the car are the 2 at the front. So the engine is mounted in a transverse way, the pistons are lined along the car sort of horizontally, and what this means is when you put your foot down too hard, it does wheel spin a bit because it's got a lot of torque and it's front wheel drive, meaning, you know, when it wheel spins it car judders. If you hit a corner too hard and you don't intentionally flick the back end a bit, it goes understeer if you're pushing it too hard, which of course most 4-wheel or front wheel drive cars do, meaning it's not particularly emotive going around corners, and in general it's just not a very emotive driving experience having a front wheel drive car. So in hindsight, what I wish I had done is actually got the all-wheel drive or the Quattro variant of this car, which of course I would do if I was purchasing it again. I'd have changed a few other options around, but the number 1 thing I really hate about this car at the moment is the fact that it is front wheel drive. Probably has saved me multiple times, of course, because Muppets like me with rear wheel drives can spin them and probably kill themselves and cost a lot of money, and, you know, maybe damage other road users or even kill people, which is a definite thing you want to avoid. But it'd probably be more fun, let's be honest, it'd be more fun having a rear wheel drive, but in future I plan on trying to stick to rear or all wheel drive vehicles. So the second thing I hate about the Audi TT, now we have arrived in Lyndhurst. Believe it or not, the sun is actually out. It is early February 2018 and the sun is out, so hopefully it will start getting warmer from here on out, because it's been damn miserable this year. And I'm all for global warming, even if it kills the planet, just to get England a bit warmer. But more to the point, the rear seat room is the second thing I hate about this car. Number 1, because it's pretty much not functional, especially from the driver's perspective. Because I'm 6 foot, it is annoying because I can't have someone sat behind me while I'm driving the car and still have my seat in a comfortable driving position. The second annoying thing about this is the fact that I think it would look a lot more exotic instead of the rear seats if it had a shelf like an Audi R8 does or a Lamborghini Huracan, because that's sort of what performance cars have. And I think extracting the rear seats and replacing them with a storage shelf would look far more exotic and give the car an overall sportier aesthetic. And thirdly, the issue with having rear seats is the fact that I have to put on my insurance papers that it seats 4 people. As a young person, seating 4 people means you're more likely to drive out to parties and stuff, and that actually increases your insurance premiums over having a 2-seater car. So having a 4-seater like that is definitely a bit annoying in terms of insurance, aesthetics, and lack of usability. The third thing I actually hate about the Audi TT is the rear aesthetics, I guess you call it. Because the front of the car is so aggressive with those new angular headlights, similar to the old R8 or the new R8. And then they've ruined the arse end of it by keeping that whole bubbly aesthetic that I think looks a bit feminine and just a little bit too, you know, not aggressive enough, not masculine enough, and not sporty enough for my liking. That is also added to by the fact that it's got this awful flimsy pop-up spoiler that you can set in and out. Personally, I like the fact that it's adaptive, but the aesthetics of it overall is a little bit, you know, I don't know, I just don't think it suits the aesthetic of the car. And I'd much prefer a fixed spoiler that's much bigger, much more aggressive, and preferably in a different colour to the rest of the body. Of course, these options are pretty much reserved for use on the Audi R8 and the Audi TT RS, which is sort of why they have to tone down some of the aesthetic options to improve the value and increase the you know, the purchasability and the want of the more aesthetic and more expensive cars. But I overall feel the arse end could have done with much more of a revamp than it actually got in this edition of TT, considering how different the front looks. Now, I know a lot of you out there are going to be saying at this point, well, Ed, if you didn't like all these aspects of the car, why did you buy it? Of course, I knew all of this stuff was going to be, you know, things I wasn't a huge fan of on the car before I purchased it. But the things I like about it, which will be coming in a future video, are what weighed me and swayed me to actually purchase the car anyway. So, the fourth thing I don't like, which is entirely my own fault, is the spec other than the front wheel drive. In terms of aesthetics, I really wish I hadn't gone for those horrible stock chrome wheels. While they're big and provide plenty of grip because of the size of tyre they take, they're not very aesthetic and I think look a lot older than the rest of the aesthetic of the vehicle. In addition to that, the LED xenon headlights are lovely, but I could have gone for some more LEDs and given them a more aggressive aesthetic as well, which I'd really wish I'd done. And the other spec which I'd totally change is having front parking sensors, as in addition to the rear ones I already have, and I'd also take away the Bang & Olufsen sound system. Now a lot of you will be thinking, oh, but sound systems are important for long drives, it's nice to have, you know, good audio and be able to listen to all your favourite songs. However, the Bang & Olufsen sound system in this is abysmal. I had a better sound system that I spent £800 on, which is the same price as this option, in my old Nissan Almera. And as well as that, my friend's got the new BMW 420i, and that has a Harman Kardon sound system, which sounds absolutely fantastic in comparison with this. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad sound system, I'm just saying it's a bit flat sounding, doesn't provide enough bass or treble, and just isn't very emotive, depending on what type of music you listen to. I'm sure if you listen to mostly vocal stuff, like, you know, maybe classical music, or maybe just a bit of pop, it's okay. If you've listened to rap or dubstep, there really isn't enough depth in the bass, or enough sort of highs in the trebles to really appreciate the song properly. Now, obviously I am a fan of the car, and at this point I am nitpicking, but the fifth thing, and probably it's something that really annoys me, and it's probably just my OCD, but I really hate the fuel filler cap. This thing here on the Standard Sport is so goddamn plasticky, I couldn't believe it when I first filled the car up with petrol. Everything else is metal, the overall finish and quality of all the buttons in it is very high, and I was like, what the hell is this? It's flimsy, plasticky, and just absolutely disgusting, and I can't believe that they wouldn't. I'd have happily paid an extra whatever it cost, you know, 50, 60 quid on top of the value of the vehicle to have that milled out of a block of aluminium, because or even maybe not even made out of aluminium, just steel or something other than that hideous plastic that the fuel filler cap is made out of, because it really just ruins the whole experience of filling the car up, because it makes it feel like a much cheaper vehicle than it actually is. Well, as we're in Lyndhurst, without further ado, let's walk through the New Forest over to the Ferrari Medina garage, where there's all those new Ferraris I always take pictures of, and as always, get a few more pictures for the gram. In addition to that, let's take the car out as well when we get back and do a first-person perspective on what it is like hooning it in the TT through the New Forest. Maserati and Ferrari is just over there, but they're Meridian Medina. There's a kebab house in between these two buildings, strangely enough, but Meridian Medina, which is the actual, like, dealer, has purchased a building just further up with all the old Ferrari pictures outside of it. So that could be interesting. I think we're probably looking at an expansion of the showroom, which would be a very interesting development in months to come. that is pretty much the end of the vlog, guys. The only thing left is I'm going to gym with Beth in a minute, so that means I'm going to film that workout. So if you want to see what I'm currently doing for my workouts to get a bit leaner, feel free to check the rest of the video out, because it's just going to be some workout stuff. But in the meantime, please remember to like, comment and subscribe. Notification bell below will let you be notified every time I release new content, which is every week, fingers crossed. And I'll see you guys very soon with more awesome content. Stay frosty.